Strike against war, for without you no battles can be fought.
College isn't the place to go for ideas. As the eagle was killed by the arrow wing with his own feather, so the hand of the world is wounded by its own skill. Instead of comparing our lot with that of those who are more fortunate than we are, we should compare it with the lot of the great majority of our fellow men. It then appears that we are among the privileged. Many people know so little about what is beyond their short range of experience. They look within themselves, and find nothing. Therefore they conclude that there is nothing outside themselves either. It is for us to pray not for tasks equal to our powers, but for powers equal to our tasks, to go forward with a great desire forever beating at the door of our hearts as we travel toward our distant goal. I seldom think about my limitations, and they never make me sad. Perhaps there is just a touch of yearning at times, but it is vague, like a breeze among flowers. It is hard to interest those who have everything in those who have nothing. As selfishness and complaint pervert the mind, so love with its joy clears and sharpens the vision. My share of the work may be limited, but the fact that it is work makes it precious. It is not possible for civilization to flow backwards while there is youth in the world. Youth may be headstrong, but it will advance at allotted length. No matter how dull, or how mean, or how wise a man is, he feels that happiness is his indisputable right. We may have found a cure for most evils, but we have found no remedy for the worst of them all, the apathy of human beings. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. I would rather walk with a friend in the dark, than alone in the light. Be of good cheer. Do not think of today's failures, but of the success that may come tomorrow. You have set yourselves a difficult task, but you will succeed if you persevere, and you will find a joy in overcoming obstacles. Remember, no effort that. People don't like to think. If one thinks, one must reach conclusions. Conclusions are not always pleasant. A bend in the road is not the end of the road, unless you fail to make the turn. We could never learn to be brave and patient if there were only joy in the world. Everything has its wonders, even darkness and silence, and I learn, whatever state I may be in, therein to be content. Happiness does not come from without, it comes from within. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure, or nothing. Many persons have a wrong idea of what constitutes true happiness. It is not attained through self-gratification but through fidelity to a worthy purpose.
Relationships are like Rome, difficult to start out, incredible during the prosperity of the Golden Age, and unbearable during the fall. Then, a new kingdom will come along and the whole process will repeat itself until you come across a kingdom like Egypt, that thrives, and continues to flourish. This kingdom will become your best friend, your soulmate, and your love.
Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. When we do the best that we can, we never know what miracle is wrought in our life, or in the life of another.
For 3 things I thank God every day of my life: thanks that He has vouchsafed me knowledge of His works, deep thanks that He has set in my darkness the lamp of faith, deepest thanks that I have another life to look forward to, a life joyous with light and flowers and heavenly song.
Literature is my utopia. Here I am not disenfranchised. No barrier of the senses shuts me out from the sweet, gracious discourses of my book friends. They talk to me without embarrassment or awkwardness.
For, after all, everyone who wishes to gain true knowledge must climb the hill difficulty alone, and since there is no royal road to the summit, I must zigzag it in my own way. I slip back many times, I fall, I stand still, I run against the edge of hidden obstacles, I lose my temper and find it again and keep it better, I trudge on, I gain a little, I feel encouraged, I get more eager and climb higher and begin to see the widening horizon. Every struggle is a victory. One more effort and I reach the luminous cloud, the blue depths of the sky, the uplands of my desire.
The few own the many because they possess the means of livelihood of all. The country is governed for the richest, for the corporations, the bankers, the land speculators, and for the exploiters of labor. The majority of mankind are working people. So long as their fair demands, the ownership and control of their livelihoods, are set at naught, we can have neither men's rights nor women's rights. The majority of mankind is ground down by industrial oppression in order that the small remnant may live in ease. In a word, literature is my utopia. Here I am not disfranchised. No barrier of the senses shuts me out from the sweet, gracious discourse of my book friends. They talk to me without embarrassment or awkwardness. The things I have learned and the things I have been taught seem of ridiculously little importance compared with their large loves and heavenly charities.
So long as you can sweeten another's pain, life is not in vain. I believe that God is in me as the sun is in the color and fragrance of a flower, the light in my darkness, the voice in my silence. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. 4 things to learn in life: to think clearly without hurry or confusion, to love everybody sincerely, to act in everything with the highest motives, to trust God unhesitatingly. Self-pity is our worst enemy, and if we yield to it, we can never do anything good in the world. So much has been given to me, I have not time to ponder over that which has been denied. I do not want the peace which passeth understanding, I want the understanding which bringeth peace. Faith is the strength by which a shattered world shall emerge into light.
I began my studies with eagerness. Before me I saw a new world opening in beauty and light, and I felt within me the capacity to know all things. In the wonderland of mind I should be as free as another with sight and hearing. Its people, scenery, manners, joys, and tragedies should be living tangible interpreters of the real world. The lecture halls seemed filled with the spirit of the great and wise, and I thought the professors were the embodiment of wisdom. But I soon discovered that college was not quite the romantic lyceum I had imagined. Many of the dreams that had delighted my young inexperience became beautifully less and faded into the light of common day. Gradually I began to find that there were disadvantages in going to college. The one I felt and still feel most is lack of time. I used to have time to think, to reflect. My mind and we would sit together of an evening and listen to the inner melodies of the spirit, which one hears only in leisure moments when the words of some loved poet touch a deep, sweet chord in the soul that until then had been silent. But in college there is no time to commune with one's thoughts. One goes to college to learn, it seems, not to think. When one enters the portals of learning, one leaves the dearest pleasures, solitude, books, and imagination, outside with the whispering pines. I suppose I ought to find some comfort in the thought that I am laying up treasures for future enjoyment, but I am improvident enough to prefer present joy to hoarding riches against a rainy day.